There are women who only learn from silence. It's not with speeches nor with long texts. It's with absence. And the worst punishment a man can give an ungrateful woman is to become exactly what she thought she would never lose. Because when you start to truly value yourself without needing to say a word, absence becomes punishment, and your coldness turns into a lesson. Nietzsche said that whoever has a why can face any how. And perhaps your why now is simply to disappear from her life as if you never existed. Because when the right man leaves, he takes more than just his body. He takes the peace, the strength, and everything she will only understand when it's too late. Imagine the following. She's still there, thinking you're going to run after her, that you'll send that last message, that you'll ask if she's okay. But all she finds is emptiness, an echo of who you once were. And that's when the despair begins, the guilt, the regret. But now you're on another level. A man who stopped begging for crumbs and started building empires. You don't punish by yelling, arguing, or trying to teach a lesson. You punish by disappearing, evolving, and being unforgettable. So before acting with anger or responding impulsively, take a deep breath and listen to what I'm about to reveal in this video. Every attitude I'm going to show you here isn't about pride. It's about awareness. It's about raising your value to the point where you become unreachable for someone who didn't know how to recognize it. If you've ever been devalued, ignored, or used as a plan B, now is your time. Because today, I'm going to show you how a high-value man punishes an ungrateful woman. And not with words, but with selective presence, silent evolution, and calculated coldness. Before we continue, I need to tell you something. This video only reached you because someone liked it and subscribed to our channel. Now it's your turn to do the same. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so this chain of knowledge keeps growing and reaching more people. Also, comment down below which city you're watching from, because I want to know how far this video is traveling. Now, no more delays, let's get to the good stuff. First attitude, withdraw your presence without warning. The woman who got used to your presence every day, with your voice, your attention, your dedication, will only realize its value when it's taken away from her without warning, because the emotional man's mistake is always trying to justify his departure. He warns, threatens, explains. But the high-value man, he just leaves. No goodbye, no warning, no crying at the gate. He gets up in silence and never comes back the same. And it's this silence that starts to scream inside her over time. Disappearing without a trace isn't about pride. It's about wisdom. You realize that nothing changes when you insist, but everything starts to crumble when you vanish. Because whoever fed on your energy now goes hungry. Whoever mocked your effort now faces emptiness. Withdrawing your presence is an act of rupture. A kind of emotional mourning that only those who lost you will understand. And it's precisely there that ingratitude turns into remorse, and disregard turns into despair. She will look for your signs, your schedules, your behavior pattern. She will imagine that you will return at any moment. But when you don't come back, something inside her starts to break. And that's the real punishment. Knowing she lost a man who doesn't make a scene, but who is missed. A man who doesn't react with tantrums, but with absence. Because in the end, whoever disappears with class returns to memory with weight. And that weight, my friend, no ungrateful woman carries with her head held high. If you're tired of watching her play games, ignore you, and do whatever she wants with your feelings, it's time to show who's in charge of the game. It's time to make her chase you and recognize your true value. In the first pinned comment, I've left a step-by-step guide on how to make her pursue you. Plus, you'll level up and become the best version of yourself. Click now. Second attitude, silence your voice and never explain anything again. Every time you try to explain your worth to someone who doesn't want to understand, you diminish yourself. Explaining is the last stage of emotional humiliation. A high-value man doesn't justify his absence, his coldness, or his change in behavior. He just changes facts without captions, because whoever loves you feels it, whoever respects you notices it, and whoever lost you, let them deal with the silence. Explaining opens space for emotional manipulation, and when you go silent, you close that door. Silence has a weight that words never reach. It makes the woman go back in time, revisit the scenes, rethink her attitudes. She starts to question where she went wrong. And this internal movement is what you'll never be able to generate with long texts or rehearsed speeches. Silence breaks the ego. It disarms pride. And it shows that this time, the control is no longer in her hands. It's in yours. And that's what flips the game. By silencing yourself, you take away the comfort of your young predictability. You break the "he always comes back" cycle. And in this emotional vacuum, she is forced to face reality. She lost access to your world. A man who doesn't explain himself asserts himself. A man who doesn't justify himself preserves himself. And this, over time, becomes the greatest lesson she could receive. Third attitude. Don't beg, don't demand, don't ask. Just ignore. Have you ever noticed that when you beg for attention, she feels entitled to ignore you? That when you demand, she feels superior? The key is to stop seeking validation where only contempt exists. The high-value man doesn't insist where there is no reciprocity. He doesn't beg for scraps of attention. He ignores with elegance because he knows that what isn't offered spontaneously has no real value. Demands and pleas are fuel for an inflated ego. When you ask, she feels she has power. When you ignore, you take that power out of her hands, and this destabilizes her. She will start to wonder why you disappeared, why you are no longer insisting, why you don't react. And in this space of silence and absence, regret is born, because no one values what is always available. Ignoring isn't contempt, it's strategy. It's saying, I know what I deserve, and clearly it's not here. And this posture, silent and firm, speaks louder than any speech. She feels your change on her skin, and the absence of demands becomes the heaviest demand she could feel. Fourth attitude. Treat the past as something dead. What binds you is memory, not love. Many men remain emotionally chained to an ungrateful woman because they haven't buried the past. They keep revisiting old conversations, reviewing photos, reliving scenes. But a high-value man doesn't carry corpses on his back. He treats the past as something dead. And the dead don't eat, they don't hug, they don't answer. Every time you return to a story that's already over, you hurt yourself again. Because the past will always seem better in memory than it was in reality. But when you decide to bury it for real, you open space for a new version of yourself. And that version no longer bends for someone who has already left you on the ground. Nietzsche said that true freedom begins when you kill what kills you from the inside. And this includes unresolved relationships. Treating the past as dead is stopping giving life to what has already destroyed you. It's saying to yourself, I deserve peace and no more wars disguised as longing. And that, my brother, is an attitude of someone who respects himself. Whoever lives in the past is a museum. A real man lives with purpose. Fifth attitude. Invest in other women who value you. There are women who only recognize a man's worth when they see another in the place she disdained. And as harsh as it sounds, it's the reality. When you start directing your attention to women who admire you, listen to you, and want you for who you are, the ungrateful woman goes into emotional collapse because she realizes too late that she was replaceable, and that destroys her ego. It's not about revenge, but about repositioning. You're not trying to provoke, you're just choosing to be valued. And that in itself is already a slap in the face of someone who underestimated you. By investing in other women, you not only show that you moved on, you show that you have options, that you don't depend on anyone to feel like a man. And that puts you in a position of power. Furthermore, being with a woman who truly values you heals wounds that the ungrateful one opened. She will watch everything from afar, pretending she doesn't care, but feeling every photo, every laugh, every moment. Because what really hurts is seeing that you are better, happier, lighter, and that she is no longer a part of it. Sixth attitude: exclude without warning, like cleansing the soul. One click, one button, one disappearance, and nothing more. Excluding without warning is a way to free yourself emotionally, like someone tearing off the last chain that held him to the past. When you exclude, you are saying that she no longer has access to your energy, your life, your universe. And this exclusion, when done without drama, without speech, without announcement, is devastating for the female ego. She will look for your name in notifications. She will search her contacts, trying to find traces of you on social media. And when she doesn't find them, the silence will scream. Because when you exclude, you show that you no longer need to be seen by her, that your validation is no longer there. And that's a dry, unexpected, and accurate blow. Cleansing the soul is cutting off what contaminates, and there are people who need to be deleted not only from your phone, but from your mind, your heart, your routine. A man who excludes in silence is not running away. He is healing, and his absence becomes an abyss impossible to ignore. Seventh attitude: don't give any chance of redemption. An ungrateful woman doesn't change. She adapts. She comes back when she realizes she lost control, not when she truly regrets. That's why the most common mistake of the evolving man is to give in when she tries to return. Give space, listen, create openings, and that's exactly when everything starts to hurt again. A high-value man doesn't reopen wounds. He learns to keep the door closed. Not giving a chance for redemption is understanding that someone who hurt you once can do it again. And that forgiveness doesn't mean reconnection. You can even forgive in silence, but keep going without looking back. Because if she didn't know how to value you when she had you completely, she doesn't deserve even the shadow of what you have become. This firm, cold, and determined posture is scary, but it also protects. Because every time you say no to someone who hurt you, you are saying yes to yourself. And that yes builds a new man, stronger, more aware, more selective. Eighth attitude: invest in your appearance, body, and mind. Nothing torments an ungrateful woman more than seeing the man she disdained become even better. When you start taking care of your body, your image, your mind, you become someone else. You grow, mature, evolve. And she who saw you as predictable begins to see a new man emerging, a man she no longer recognizes, but who now awakens the desire that she didn't know how to nurture before. Improving your appearance is not vanity, it's emotional strategy. It's showing that you are so good with yourself that you don't even need to prove anything to anyone anymore. And this confidence, this presence, this I am enough energy is highly seductive for everyone, including for the one who lost you, because deep down she will understand. He became the man I always wanted, but too late. Taking care of your body and your mind is the most silent and powerful revenge that exists. It's letting your evolution speak for you. Letting your new look, your firm posture, your transformed energy say, I'm on another level now. And on this new level, she no longer has access. Ninth attitude: refuse any kind of explanation. She will try to come back with arguments, tears, maybe even guilt, disguised as affection. But at that moment, you need to stand firm. The high-value man doesn't listen to emotional justifications from someone who caused wounds that he had to heal on his own. Because when the pain was yours, her absence was too. And now that she wants to explain what she didn't have the courage to fix, you just refuse. Refusing explanations is shielding yourself against relapses. It's understanding that words don't erase actions, and that whoever hurt you needs to deal with the silence, not with more chances. The ungrateful woman will try to reverse roles, make you doubt your decision, your worth, your memory. But you know, deep down, you know how much you were devalued. And knowing that is what gives you the strength not to listen to anything else. This is the attitude that most shows your emotional evolution, because when a man stops seeking explanations, he becomes inexplicable. And that affects her on a deep level. The absence of response becomes the final sentence, and silence, once again, wins any argument. 10th attitude. Let her discover on her own that she lost a rare man. You don't need to rub your evolution in her face, nor post indirect messages, nor try to show how much better you are doing. The real punishment is for her to discover on her own, in her own time, in the emptiness of her routine, in comparison with other men, that she lost someone rare, a man who was present, intense, loyal, true, a man she may never find again. This realization doesn't come on the first day, nor in the first week. It comes when she tries to connect with others and doesn't find depth. When she realizes that the new guy doesn't listen, doesn't comfort, doesn't care the way you did. That's when regret sets in, but you will already be far away, stronger, at peace, without needing to prove anything anymore. You were what she needed, but she didn't recognize it. And now all that remains for her is the echo of your absence, the memory of what she had and lost. Because the rare man doesn't take revenge, doesn't stoop down, doesn't return. He simply moves on, leaving longing where he was once ignored. And that, my friend, is the cruelest punishment an ungrateful woman can receive. If this video made a difference for you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Every video we create here is thoughtfully made, always with the aim of helping you develop and achieve your best version. We want to share practical and direct tips that really impact your life positively. So don't waste time and comment below with the word gratitude and the phrase "in search of my best version." This will help the algorithm show this video to even more men who are seeking growth. Your engagement in the comments is essential for our content to reach those who need these tips the most. Furthermore, your support with the like and subscription to the channel strengthens our work and motivates us to continue creating valuable content for your journey. The more you interact, the more men will also have access to this type of information, which only helps our mission to transform lives. So thank you for being with us on this journey. Stay tuned for the next videos, because we are always bringing new things to help you evolve. A big hug, and until the next video.